I don't think it's a good. I don't think it's a good thing to have the House in Republican hands, not at this point, especially these fucking idiots. I mean, the Tea Partiers.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only good news is the Senate, which is usually more conservative, is still, the Democrats still have. So there's not much the Congress can do.
Here in Illinois, we managed to elect
But the Senate's
a
always
pathological liar to the Senate. We got Mark Kirk.
Yeah, well, Illinois probably should just bury that state. It isn't doing anything good for the country lately.
Now, this is Barack Obama's old seat, by the way.
Exactly. You're not doing us any good at all. It's like radioactive or something. Nothing but mutants come out of that seat.
Well, it is a corrupt state. We've got a former governor in federal prison right now, and most likely we're going to have another one. Rob Blagojevich probably going to wind up there. So, Gary, if you don't mind me asking, what was lame about our motorcycle conversation last week? Or is it just that motorcycle conversations are lame by definition?
Yeah, well, I think that's sort of how it works. You have to do them very carefully, or else, yeah, it's a bunch of wannabes talking about the, whatever. They're well, I don't know how to a good analogy for it, but yeah, and it's just you have to make it brief, so it's very easy to do that too long. So that's all. But it was fine. It's like I said, it's even just saying the word motorcycle. It's like, oh yeah, the subject's already over. Just we're done already.
So how did your elections come out, Lefty? Nope. Guess I ran him off.
Yeah, no, well, they did all right in California. I mean, the nasties didn't win. Really was kind of a middle of the country kind of election. It was all that red stuff in the middle, you know. Why did it fail? I don't know. That's even a hard question, I suppose. But I mean, for obvious reasons, is that there's a whole bunch of people who think like marijuana's Satan's sperm or something. They're just afraid of drugs. Drugs are bad, okay? So there's that whole percentage of people, the religious whacks and the conservative Republicans, and so you know. But I mean, it came pretty close. I mean, it's within a million votes now or whatever, right? 100,000 or something. So that's pretty, it's getting close.
There were also just a rash of ads that were funded from outside in the last days before the election that portrayed Prop 19 as legalizing, driving while stoned and protecting people who go to work stoned. In other words, just flat out lies.
Yep.
What politicians do.
Yeah, well, it does get tricky though, because as soon as you do change the laws, and you're going to have to do something to make the laws more explicit about how stoned you're allowed to be and all that kind of stuff. So it does get a little complicated. I mean, I'd be a little worried about it.
I think we should just legalize it. Just stop putting people in jail. Nothing else will change.
There's already laws stating that you
Everybody
cannot.
knows you can't drive stoned.
Yeah, there's already separate laws stating that you cannot drive under the, while intoxicated.
I know, but the fact that it's illegal makes it something that people can actually be penalized for, okay? So that's the difference. I mean, once you decriminalize it or legalize it, what's going to be the penalty for being stoned while driving? There won't be any, because there's nothing on the books.
Yeah, there is. At least in this state, there sure the fuck is.
Well, what is it? I'd like to see the exact law and exactly how does it define marijuana inebriation.
Well, in my province, in my country, we have, having actually been struck by this, I know this very well. It's a 24-hour suspension of your license, which you can then, your car is then towed, which you can then pick it up 24 hours later. And then then after you go to court, and then a whole bunch of bullshit, but.
Yeah, after you go to court and do what? Do what? There's okay, you're not gonna, no longer possession is gonna get your license taken away, okay? Because it'll be illegal to possess. So, what's gonna be the standard? You're gonna have to do a blood test. Blood test on THC, really tricky business. Alright, you can, levels and all the rest of that stuff, there's no law. So what the fuck are you talking about? There's nothing there.
This is the problem why it needs to be legalized, because then they can actually spend time on things like that, figuring out how stoned people are.
Well, that's why I'm saying if you want to get the legalization, you come up with the goddamn accountability stuff first. So then you don't have this argument. Then no one can Shanghai you with the argument that, well, I don't want my construction workers stoned. I don't want the taxi driver stoned. I don't want bus drivers stoned. So until you come up with the accountability legislation first, I don't see that. Because look, it wouldn't persuade me. I'd still vote for legalization, but I would do it quite apprehensively because, fuck, I don't want fucking the UPS guy already is a crazy driver. I don't want him fucking stoned.
I think it's funny that you're leaving out the fact that it's just dangerous to drive anyways, and that cars are actually a factor in.
Well, that's a stupid argument,
Fuck you.
I'm
Cars
sorry,
are
it's
fucking
just
dangerous,
stupid.
regardless of whether you're high
Yeah, regardless, yeah, and they're a lot more dangerous when somebody's drunk. We know that for a fact.
Yep, that's why we need trains, so we can get high and dry on the way home.
Whatever. Yeah, fine. Yeah, let's have the whatever. Yeah, you can have a name for it.
That's what Europe
Yellow
does.
submarine. Maybe we could
drive around like we do. Slaves to automobiles, like we are.
I think it'd be awesome if we had a better.
Well, go ahead and try to sell that to people then too. You're talking about all this freedom stuff, and then you're talking about, well, yeah, no, we'll just put everybody on buses and trains.
I'm trying to talk about what's, status quo. I don't want real shit to happen,
Real shit by what definition?
Like getting off of fucking oil. Like getting people wise to what fast food is made of. Like getting people wise to what Walmart does to the economy. Like getting people wise to how you can actually do something about it.
Yeah, well, that's the tricky. That last one is the one. That's the last one is the one that matters. The rest of the stuff, people are already wise to the rest of that crap. They just don't give a fuck. If they could.
No, well, why don't they give
Chinese,
a fuck?
Look, if we were eating Chinese people,
They don't give a fuck. They don't think they can do
there's
anything
plenty of
about it.
people who'd buy their whatever, their Gook burger if it was cheap enough and tasty enough and had the right special sauce on it. We'd just eat people directly.
Yeah, I like Vietnamese food. One of my favorite restaurants in town is Vietnamese, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, changing the subject, but whatever.
it's important to know the issues, so then you can, like, find the audience. Like, there's pot issue. Well, you can talk to the pot audience about how to get pot legal. There's the Walmart people that hate Walmart. You go address that lobby. It's basically just lobbies.
Yeah, but there's no point in just doing nothing, accomplishing. It's like Greenpeace or something. I mean, yeah, let's go save the whales so that the Japanese can farm them. I mean, that would be stupid. So you don't save them for that purpose. That's just fail all over the place. And so there's failure written on all this stuff. Well, I didn't say you did. I'm just using that as an example. It's okay. Well, this stupid green crap doesn't go anywhere. Most of the oil we use is used in agriculture. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be better for the environment for people to do less driving. I'm all for having a, stupid, dumb, moronic, wasted trip tax or something. If we can figure out some way to tax these stupid 500 trips people take to the store or in that shit, then great. But yeah, I would rather have infrastructure that took care of that. We should have stores that are delivering to us rather than people going out to the stores. That would be efficient.
Actually, when the suburbs were built, they all had trolleys and they all had buses, and they all had trains. There's trains going from all of those smaller towns to the cities. And they took them all out and installed gas stations. You can look it up. They sabotaged people.
Yeah, I don't have to look it up. I mean, this little town here had a train. We had our own fucking train. We had our own fucking train here.
We had trains.
But it wasn't.
Yeah, we had a train nation.
But it wasn't.
Union Pacific.
It wasn't economical, because the subsidized roads. It was too easy. I mean, we subsidized the fuel for and the roads for the trucks.
The oil profits. They wanted to use up that oil. And cars used oil. And that made money.
Well, trains also used a lot of oil, so let's not be too silly about this.
A train can carry 1,000 people, and a car can carry 4. So, which is using more energy.
I agree with the idea. We should try and build get some sort of infrastructure similar to what the Europeans have. Though their continent's a lot more compact than ours, but they have the massive system. And hell, if you want, you can in an hour you can go across three countries.
Well, whatever.
No you can go. My country, Canada. Big ass fucking country to go anywhere unless by bus.
Yeah,
bus
America's just about as big as Europe, and you can go from Florida to California with one ID. So we're getting there.
Well, look, most of the waste in fuel is, like I said, is local. Okay, it's people driving 2 miles to the fucking store. That's where the waste is. So I'm just saying, if you put in
more buses.
Well, I don't see people don't need buses. They need mechanisms that deter them from making those short trips. Yeah, well, we don't need that shit. But I mean, you're not gonna get. Most people aren't going to want to go get on a bus to go to the grocery store, so I mean that's not very practical.
They will if it saves them hundreds of dollars.
Well, it'd have to be a lot of dollars. I'm just saying it'd have to be a lot of dollars in this town to get these suburbanites to jump on any fucking guy, wait at a bus stop to go to the store. I don't think
they may not have a choice in 50 years. We're using the oil up pretty quick.
Well, it's not going to matter. Well, whatever. That's even a stupid argument. I mean, this isn't a 50-year problem. It's a 20-year. Well, I'm just saying, 50 years? Come on, we got so many fucking brick walls to hurdle over that are like 953 feet high that, this is 50 years. I mean, what are the odds of the human race making it 50 fucking years?
Hey, that's a good bet.